Ladies and gentlemen, you are joining us at Oulton Park for round one of the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship. We're very excited. We have a fab entry, as usual, for this round. Paul, what are you thinking for today?
Oh my word! I've had a quick look at the entry. Actually, it's pretty impressive, isn't it? Got 100 cars. Great start to the year for the championship. Myself, I'm going to be driving in one of Paul Sheard's MX-5s, a Mark III in Class C, which is super competitive. When I commentate on it, it's one to watch. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. All the other drivers are. You're looking forward to it because you're competing as well. You're in a fast old car, aren't you?
Yes, car 5. We are number 3 on the road, so that's it's going to be a busy day, a little bit challenging, but no, I cannot wait. So a little bit different for us for round one. Now, you're going to head over and you're going to do the voiceover right now, so over to you, Paul.
Yeah, watch and learn. The 2019-2020 Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship is set to be the best season yet and fittingly starts at Oulton Park, which hosted the opening special stage of Rally GP just 1 month ago. We've got a great entry list for this event, so let's dive in. In Class A, we've got a good mix of returning and new competitors. Adam and Ray Ripper are back, as is Craig Aston in his Toyota Yaris, this time with Mark Wassell as his teammate, of Mark Blackmore and Nicky Cowperthwaite. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish have got new sponsors and a new colour scheme, but the same determination to win the overall championship and the Michelin Cup. Bruce Lindsay is back, this time navigating for Michael Farmer in their Ford Focus, whilst George Sheard and Tommy Meadows will be ones to watch. Kathy Stewart is really fired up for this year after just losing out to Ryan Connolly last year. She's been training and going to be on it from the get-go. Mike English and Andy Robinson return, as do Joshua and Tamsin Davey in their Darien. It's a full house of Michelin Cup Championship runners in Class D1. This has been Ford Escort territory with beautiful models entered. The two Darien T90s of Barry and Seamus Morris really look the part, but with a massive 28 cars entered into this class, it's going to be a close fight. Frank Bird and Jack Morton went really well last season and they're back for a crack at the championship in the Ford Focus. They'll face some stiff competition from two-time British rally champion Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman. They're out in Guy Smith's winning car from last season, and keep an eye out for our very own Sam Coleman in Graham Coffey's Ford Fiesta. Let's check out the stage plan for stages 1 and 2. The cars leave the stand from the top of the pit lane and join the track heading into Deer Leap and Lodge Corner. They then go through a chicane and onto the slippery rally stage, which is sure to catch out a few, hopefully not me. From there on, the cars rejoin the circuit at Clay Hill and run down to the Shell Oils hairpin. It's the same for the second lap, but on the third time round, the cars will turn left at Knickerbrook, taking the Foster's Link and then through Cascades and the finishing line into the pits. Matt Edwards lines up on the stand to start things off in the gorgeous Ford Fiesta R5. He's been looking forward to this event, competing at the circuit last month in the Rally GB event, and he's certainly not lacking in commitment. They would, however, finish the stage in third place, having picked up a 10-second penalty. Set in the same time as Matt and Rhys would be this car in the hands of Frank Bird and Jack Morton, the pair taking the lead of the rally with a time of 8 minutes and 22 seconds despite hitting some traffic on their way round into the rally stage. The Darien of Tasman and Joshua Davies showed well last season and they were on it from the get-go. The wet conditions not dampening the commitment. Closely followed then in the GTR Plus version of the Darien were Barry Morris and Tom Hutchings. They would be early pace setters in the D1 class. These fellas look like they know what they're doing. Jack and I got off to a good start in the MX-5 class and really got the pedal down. Our teammates George Sheard and Tommy Meadows were cautious off the line, but they were fastest of Class B runners and showed good application of the handbrake through some of the corners. Giving it the big and off the line in Class A were Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood in their Vauxhall Corsair. They were fastest after stage 1. Demonstrating beautiful car control on the rally stage were Peter Jackson and Chris Williams in their Ford Escort. Who says you can't have a bit of fun at the weekend? James Self and Ian Davis got it a bit wrong entering the rally stage. Those tyres coming in handy. Kathy Seward had a torrid first stage, retiring her Lotus Talbot Sunbeam with fuel issues. Ryan Burns and Steve Hallmark weren't especially happy either, but then remembered how much the gloves cost. Starting stage 2 and Frank Berg off to another flyer. His last outing was in Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi for the last round of the Renault Euro Cup, so he's really showing he's a dab hand in anything. Matt Edwards was the next person on the road, running in second place. He finished the stage 5 seconds slower than Frank and Jack, giving the crew of car 6 a 15-second lead. Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh put in a consistent run to hold on to third place in the standings, despite only setting 5th fastest time on stage 2. Andy Scott and Mark Fowler took to the stage in Kevin Proctor's Ford Fiesta, which won last year's event. They would set the 4th fastest time on the stage to close a gap to Simpson and Walsh by 5 seconds. James Self and Ian Davis weren't taking any prisoners either in their Ford Fiesta, running just ahead of the similar car of the event sponsor Graham Coffey and Sam. They'd be 6th fastest. The Subaru Impreza of Dave Roberts and Jonathan Kennedy fires off the line as they set the 8th fastest time. They top the chasing pack, which also includes the familiar specification of Adam Williams and Rachel Atherton. They'd have a solid run and finish 8th in class and 13th overall. The Mitsubishi Evo of Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth was close behind, taking 13 seconds out the advantage of the 56 Impreza in front. Taking off here, another Impreza in classic livery, this time our old friends and championship returnees John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton. They'd finish the stage 10th in the order, but they'd retire on stage 6 with mechanical issues. Impreza's hunting pairs, it would seem, and Adrian Spencer and Mark Hewitt launched their version off the line in pursuit. They'd almost matched the times of Griffiths and Wetton, but were just missing out on the final few seconds. David Turnbull and Robin Shuttleworth didn't hang around either in their red Ford Fiesta. They'd keep the noses clean to finish the rally just outside the top 20 in 21st place. An interesting addition to the new season entry list is the Mitsubishi Mirage of Paul Smith and Dale Brown. They started slowly and steadily, but picked off their rivals throughout the day to finish 9th overall. The first of the reserve runners, Greg Williams and Lauren Groves, did well despite the traffic on the stage. Meanwhile, Steve Finch and Sam Fordham used all of their four-wheel drive power to get around the stage. Lee and Louise Allen put their Mitsubishi through its paces, running just ahead of the Subaru runners, Jay Pavley and Max Freeman. It does look good in black, red and gold, doesn't it? The number 91 Subaru of Stephen Reed and Lee Clark would finish 14th in class, but unfortunately the similar car of Sean McGonigal and Benjamin Richardson wouldn't finish, retiring on this stage. Sam's now back from a bit of a job on the side, so let's catch up with her in the paddock.
So I'm here with Graham Coffey. Graham, you are the main sponsor of this event again, and I mean, what an entry it is once again.
I know, it always amazes me every year that we get such a strong entry in this, and it seems to be sold out very, very quickly. So Darren and his team must be doing something right with this circuit championship.
You're obviously out as well. How's it going so far for you today?
Well, stage 1, as you know, because you were sat with me, we went all right. And then stage 2, we've developed a bit of a boost issue. So the lads are on with it at the moment. So let's hope they can get that boost back up, because it was a bit flat.
Fingers crossed, because it's been a fab morning. I'll interview myself as the co-driver. It has been really, really good fun out in this car this morning. It's a little bit different, but no, it's been great fun, hasn't it? The weather's holding out for us, touch wood, so far as well. So yeah, hopefully we can get that sorted, and we'll be away for the rest of the day. We've got something a little bit interesting going on there. It's a new headlight by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's a new modification to the car. We're hoping it'll work in the dark. I very much doubt it. Yeah, we just got a little bit exuberant on the first stage, on the rally stage. Went into a spin and caught a barrel. So there's a beautiful headlight laying on the grass somewhere. So we thought we'd add that modification. Not sure if it's going to work well.
Yeah, no, we're gonna see later, aren't we?
We'll try.
Or maybe we might not see later.
Well, there is this, yeah, but we'll be there. We'll be there in the dark, one-eyed or not.
Guys, we are in it for the long haul this time. You've signed up for the championship. This is the first round. How's it going out there for you this morning?
Yeah, it's going really well. It's a really fun stage and a few bits to watch out for, but no, it's going good. Taking it, no mistakes really, and just getting a clean run through each stage. It's really slippy on like the infield circuit over there, so you just got to take it easy and just get through there, really. Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully keep it up.
And Jack, what about your side of the car? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing okay so far. Just a steady run through the first 2 stages because we didn't particularly know how slippy it was going to be. So just a bit of an eyesight on the first 2, not too quick so far. So still got a bit more to come here.
Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood take an early lead in Class A after the first 2 stages, going 16 seconds faster than Ben and Kevin Wilson in the Citroen AX GT. What a car. Ron Walker and Eamon McCubbin have upgraded the Tangerine Ford KA to a Puma this season and are in 3rd. George Sheard and Tommy Meadows have a healthy 31-second lead over their Class B rivals in their Ford Puma. The Vauxhall Corse of Chris Ruck and Steve Harris is next up, but just 2 seconds behind them is Danny Davis and Liam McCallan. Paul Gorge and Daniel Hurst are 4th in their Mazda MX-5. Joshua and Tamsin Davey have a monster lead in Class C. Their white Darien T90 has a whopping 1 minute 40-second advantage over the Ford Escort Mark II of Gary Mason and John Matthews. Behind them, the gaps are much smaller, with Jack Ives and Dave Reed 3rd in their Ford Escort, just 1 second behind. A Darien T90 also leads Class D1 in the hands of Barry Morris and Tom Hutchings. The purposeful looking T90 GTR Plus looks the business, and it's the Plus that makes all the difference. Only 2 seconds separate 2nd to 4th places. Frank Bird and Jack Morton have opened up an early lead in the D2 class, going 15 seconds faster than Matt Edwards and Reece Stoneman, but then again he is borrowing that Fiesta R5, so probably doesn't want to crash it. Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh are 3rd, and Andy Scott and Mark Fowler 4th. Frank and Jack lead the way in the overall standings, with Matt and Reece just behind, but the surprise entrant is Joshua and Tamsin Davey in that Darien. Also making an appearance in the D1 Darien is Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins in 8th place overall. The Neil Howard stages are well and truly into full swing, and we've got 2 stages under our belts now, so let's have a look at what's in store for stages 3 and 4. The 7.35 mile stage uses the track's island configuration, but just in the opposite direction. The cars will once again take on parts of the rally stage, joining the circuit at Clay Hill. On the final lap, the competitors will take on a new and improved water splash, now with even more water. It's a good way to find out how waterproof your car is. I hope I didn't need my scuba gear. As stage 3 gets underway, it's the fire-breathing Darien T90 GTR Plus of Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins that leads the way of the 20 entries in D1 class. That car looks bonkers, but it's mega quick. Giving chase is the Ford Escort Mark II of Will and Leon Owen. These 2 guys ran well last season and were always in with a chance, so it's no surprise to see them mixing it up once again. We'll go on board now with 3rd place runners Peter Jackson and Chris Williams in another Mark II Escort. These guys would feature in amongst the top runners, but would unfortunately retire on stage 6 with steering issues. Great on board though, love it. Our friends the Tilburns are up next in their Ford Escort. The father and son team of Stephen and Jack were regular contenders for the podium last year. It'll be the same this year for sure. The Lotus Talbot Sunbeam of Mike Taylor and Martin Haggart lost out to the Tilburns in stage 2, dropping 13 seconds back, but they would gain ground on stage 3, ending the stage 10 seconds behind. Equaling their overall time are Paul Morrow and Callum Cross as they slide their Ford Escort into contention. There's no doubt in their commitment. Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones were up next, running 7th in class, this time in a blue Ford Escort. They would retire on stage 6 with electrical issues. Giving chase in their eye-catching grey and yellow Porsche Cayman with Ciro Carianti and Simon Coates. They would have an early scuff with the barrier on stage 2, but an engine noise would rule them out of the running after stage 5. There's no missing that bright yellow Ford Escort of Michael Walton and Jamie Vaughan. They'd have a great day moving up the order and even getting a bit impatient with the odd D2 car. The immaculately turned out Mini Cooper S of Tom Delaney and Bryn Moore Pierce was another consistent runner. They'd finished the event 7th in class and an impressive 16th overall. Ah yes, here we go then, an old school 3 Series BMW in the hands of Richard Poole and Darren Eichen, but sadly for them it didn't go much further than this shot, retiring with an engine issue. Backfiring into 12th in class was the Darien of Seamus Morris and Jalaf Kelly, and they placed just ahead of the Ford Escort of Dave Olmark and Heather Phelps. Some nice go fast stickers on that one. Martin Fox and Lauren Hewitt had a bit of variety in their blue Porsche Cayman. They'd finished the day 10th in class. In another Mini Cooper, reserve list entrants Rob Jones and Tom Murphy will put in a few good stages ahead of the BMW of Roger Titley and Lucy Owen McZadlow, who would unfortunately retire on stage 8. Smoking their way through the stage were Philip Jennings and George Jennings, ahead of Alistair Stables and Neil Jones. The final two runners of Mike Bayliss and Chris Sharp-Simkis in their BMW Compact, and James Curtis and Stu Thomas round out the D1 runners. Back at the front, and it's Frank Bird and Jack Morton in the lead, and they are flying. The Davies lead Class C with 4 wheels on their wagon. Just about. That doesn't seem to be slowing them down though. With George Sheard now retiring, Chris Ruck and Steve Harris now leading Class B, whilst Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood continue to lead Class C. And here's me trying to get Jack Benyon as wet as possible. Leading the way at the start of stage 4 in Class C continue to be Joshua and Tasmin Davey, though I'm not entirely sure that front left should be at that angle. The pair finished the stage dropping around a minute but avoiding a penalty before they could get back and repair the damage. Keeping up the pressure with Jack Ives and Dave Reed in their Ford Escort, who were level on times with another Escort, this one in the hands of Anthony Allery and Simon Dockeray. Also in the close battle for 4th in class were championship entrants Gary Mason and John Matthews, and the orange Civic of Josh Evans and Zach Hughes. Oh look, the car's for sale too. Go on lads. On board now with Stuart Popwell and Nigel Barber in the Seat Ibiza as they tackle the tricky rally section. You can see how hard the drivers are having to work to keep up the speed. 7th overall in class and 39th overall were regulars Mike English and Andy Robinson in the Turquoise Terror. Unfortunately, the pair would retire on stage 8 with engine woes. Matthew Thompson and Nick Jones were having a good run in their BMW Compact despite the slippery conditions. Check out Paul Stevenson and Mike Hughes. Is that Escort ever facing forward? Superb car control there, boys. Splashing through the water were Martin Beach and Noel Murphy, while a little further behind, just outside top 10 in class, were Josh Simpson and Gary Green, with the championship entrants Blair and Shannon Thompson hot on their heels. Let's go on board with the pair. Nathan Evans and Tom Wood were 13th, splashing through the Darcy dip here, and Ashley Davis and Freddie Hewitt's Peugeot 205 GTI were not far behind. Slipping and sliding around in 15th in class were Ian Woodward and Richard Pover, but they'd have to press on as Ian Phillips Skip and Russell Joseph were just 5 seconds behind. But then 3 cars were separated by just 12 seconds. Keith Anglesey and Paul Barbett led the way in their BMW, and Gavin Thompson and Simon Golding's Peugeot 205 Maxi in the middle. Then John Carroll and Callum Young's Honda Civic close behind. Simon Guy Tuckman and Andrew Wilson were nicking all the style points, while Paul Fern and Will Brown were just outside the top 20 with their Talbot Sunbeam, ahead of Erding de Germ Inchaglu and Barry Armour's Ford Escort. Mike Riley and Phil Goff in their Escort, and Sam Jones and Graham Fraser's Peugeot. Rounding off the Class C runners were Paul Quinnell and Darren Jackson in another Peugeot, and Kevin John Williams and Andrew Davis in the Vauxhall Chevette. Sadly, this would be the last stage we see Daniel Poole and Derek Llewellyn as they retired with an engine problem, joining Kathy Sewitt and Colin Stevens, who'd stopped on stage 1. On board with Frank Bird and Jack Morton, who'd continued to lead the rally 10 seconds ahead of Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman, who'd had that 10-second penalty. Close stuff. Barely pointing straight but leading Class D1 were Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins with their Darien. Those cars are going well at Oulton Park. Yours truly was heading the MX5 class, only thanks, to be fair, to Jack Benyon's co-driving. We kept the car nice and clean too. Chris Ruck and Steve Harris had a good lead in Class B in their Opel Corsa, though Mark and Matthew Blackmore were giving them a hard time here. Rounding off the leaders were Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood in their Class A Corsa. Well, I've done 4 stages so far. We've had 2 changes of stages here with Jack, and yeah, we've done all right so far, haven't we, mate? We've been pretty decent. You've kept me on my toes, but we just got a bit of a misfire, haven't we? But it's been going all right so far, hasn't it?
I think it's gone really well, and I hate to say it, but you've driven really well this morning. Giving you compliments is the last thing I want to do, but usually it takes a little bit of time for people who have done circuits like you to go backwards around the track. Obviously, all the corners are a different shape when you go backwards, so you approach Old Hall like it's going right, but it's actually left, and it's a lot different. So I think it takes a little bit of time for circuit racing drivers to get used to that. But obviously, you've been doing this for a few years now, and I think you're starting to get into the rhythm of it now. So we were pretty much bang on for the first stage, and I think our time we were maybe like 14th overall. So to be that high for a car that seeded 29th, theoretically we should be 29th overall. So to be 14th, I think we can both be happy with that. The standard of the entry is so high, it's so top heavy with the people who come to do this event. Everyone knows how well organised and well run this event is, and it's the first round of the Motorsport New Circuit Valley Championship, so everyone wants to do it. So you know that the entry is going to be good.
Yeah, that's true. So we've got our work cut out now. Hopefully we can get this misfire sorted out. Paul Sheard's boys doing a grand job as usual. So we've had a look at the map. We'll see what goes on. Wish us luck, but we'll be flat out. Trees or trophies, apparently. That's what you're saying, it?
Round 1 of a brand new championship, guys. How is it going out there today? It's a little bit wet now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is wet. That's the good thing. It's not in between. Yeah, we've had an interesting day. As I was just saying, the championship's got so professional. There's so much hype about it, so much media beforehand. For the first time ever, I've really been nervous.
Keeping it on the black stuff, that's the main thing today, really.
Yeah.
I think there have been quite a few people that have gone past us thinking they're quicker and then ended up going around in circles in front of us as we go by them. So I think it's a case of being sensible on the stuff that's grippiest.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, we'll keep an eye on you for the rest of the day, and we'll have a chat later on.
Keep it straight.
Stage 1, just bedding in the car, getting used to the grip, finding where the grip was. Stage 2 and 3, unfortunately we had a spin in stage 2. Just a little bit too long on the handbrake, and then on stage 3 a bit of a bigger spin, and I went onto the grass, but managed to recover it off the wet grass. And then I went back down onto the roads and only lost 7 seconds, so that's not too bad at all. And then stage 4, got to grips with it then, and handling the car is good. Finding the grip, although it has started to rain again, so we might lose some again on the next stage, but yeah, it's going good so far. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well. My aim was to finish 15th or higher today because of how competitive it is. So yeah, we're doing not too bad.
With 4 stages gone, it's the trusty Vauxhall Corsa of Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood that continues to lead the way in Class A. They extend the lead by 3 seconds over the Citroën of Ben and Kevin Wilson, with Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin in 3rd. With George Sheard retiring on stage 3 with a shaft issue, it's now Chris Ruck and Steve Harris who lead Class B in another Vauxhall Corsa. Luton's finest is delivering here at Oulton Park. 30 seconds behind them is Danny Davis and Liam McCallion. Despite the wonky wheel on the Darien T90 of Joshua and Tamsin Davey, they still lead Class C, but the lead has been reduced after the last stage. They still have a decent advantage over Jack Ives and Dave Reed, who have only a minute in hand over 3rd place runners Anthony Allery and Simon Dockeray. Amazingly, after 2 more stages, the gap at the top of Class D is exactly the same. Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins still lead Will and Leon Owen by 16 seconds, with Peter Jackson and Chris Williams jumping into 3rd ahead of the Tilburns. Frank Bird and Jack Morton still top the class in D2, but just 10 seconds behind them is the Fiesta of Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman. Take that penalty away and they would have been level pegging. Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh are 3rd, with Sam and Graham back in 6th. It's a similar story in the overall results, with the Darien of Joshua and Tamsin Davey dropping back after their surprise 3rd place after 2 stages. Everyone moves up 1 spot, with Will and Leon Owen creeping into the top 8. Let's take a look at the stages and see what's in store. The start line's now moved and the drivers will head the standard way around the circuit. We're now finished with the rally section and will instead head on to the access road through the trees for something different, and the competitors are now going to have to test themselves on something very different indeed. Leading the way in Class B was the rare Opel Corsa of Chris Ruck and Steve Harris, aiming not only to win this rally but to take the championship lead too. Next up were Danny Davis and Liam McCallion in their Vauxhall Corsa. They'd have just over 20 seconds to make up to grab the win. Bottoming out on the rough stuff were my teammates Paul Gorge and Daniel Hurst, 2nd of the championship entrants. Corsas are popular, as Richard and Adam Case were in 4th place in Class B, 3rd of the championship runners. Just 3 seconds behind were Connor Tolson and Brian Larrier, so there would be no let up for either pairing. Go on, lads. A familiar entry, but in a new colour scheme, thanks to the support from Cirrus. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish were next up in their Ford Fiesta. They had a decent advantage over Mark Peterson and Jim Bowie's car, the Citroen, so they'd be hoping to start the season well. Next up was Simon Larner and Tony Clements, though they did unfortunately not finish the event this time round. The Peugeot of David and Ben Forrester was 9th in class through 5 stages. Another Army Motorsport car, this one in the hands of Simon Machin and William Cooper, rounded out the top 10, though they were 7th of the championship entrants. A little further down was another Citroen, this one belonging to David Wilson and Robert Clark. Absolutely flying, but fighting against 2 penalty times to fix their earlier problems were Ryan Burns and Steve Hallmark, who seemed to be enjoying themselves regardless. There were dramas at the lead of the event though, as Frank Bird and Jack Morton were about to experience a lack of power. Listen on board. Frank searches for a gear, but the turbo failure means that they'll be forced to retire from the event. That promotes Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman into the rally lead, and they would have a significant advantage at this point. Leading D1 were Will and Leon Owen, though their exuberance here did earn them a telling off. Play nicely, lads. It's only a rally. Oh my word. Still battling on despite the dramas, Joshua and Tamsin Davey remain top of the tree in Class C. On board with Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman, and watch this as they come out of Knickerbrook. This is some car control as he heads on the grass, big squeeze, gathers it all up. Great on-board footage, love it.
Chicane enter right, 5 right, open.
Meanwhile, down the road, check this out, Roger Titley and Lucy Owen McZadlow entertain the crowds. Well held. As you can see here on board with Stuart Popwell and Nigel Barber, how tricky it is, not only to see with the rain, but also how much muck and dirt and mist is on the windscreen. Isn't slowing them down though. Let's head to the paddock and catch up with Sam.
How's it going for you today? We're back out for the championship, round 1. How's it going?
It's going well, thank you. We've had a few problems today. We hit a bank on stage 1 and we've just gone the wrong way on that one. But we're having fun, which is the main thing. And you know, it's just good fun all round, so I can't really complain too much.
And we've just been talking, saying it's a little bit slippy down the access road, isn't it? There's a lot of leaves on the floor. How are we finding that?
I'm finding it quite all right because we've got these wet tyres on and they're quite chunky, so they cut through the mud quite well. But you know, I think it's only a short section and it's relatively straight, but it's slippy as you say. But you know, it's good fun, nice and enjoyable. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep our eye on you, and fingers crossed we'll be chatting to you later.
Thank you.
Now guys, this is very new to you today. Obviously it's your first time in Kev's car, it's your first time sitting in together, isn't it? So how are we finding it?
Good fun. We've had a few moments, which is, but no, great fun. I mean, you've got to thank Kevin very much for the chance of driving his car, and also thank Mark for stepping into an unknown seat. So, yeah, no, we're having great fun.
But just talk us through what it's like.
The acceleration and the braking on these things are just second to none. Obviously very blessed to sit in the car, but very, very excited as well, so we're just hopefully pushing on so we can overtake Coffee.
Okay, we're just going to skip over that. And so in general, you've obviously got to grips with the car now because you're doing really well.
You know, we feel we've got a good 5 seconds coming in this next stage, so we're on it.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing that 5 seconds, and we'll be on it. Talk to you later.
Cheers, thank you.
Pushing hard still and leading the way in Class A were Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood in their Vauxhall Corsa. Beautiful car. Also pressing on with some great car control here were Ben and Kevin Wilson in their Citroen AX GT. That is proper, boys. Leading the championship entrance and 3rd overall in class were Mark and Matthew Blackmore, whose lively yellow and green Corsa was looking a bit mucky at this point. Get down the jet wash, lads. No, longer in the very orange Ford KA they rallied last year. Ron Walker and Eamon McCubbin were 4th in Class A in their very white Ford Puma. Looks mint though. Maybe a bit of orange a bit later on in the year. Calvin Woods and Connor Aspey were 5th place and leading a close 5-car battle that covered less than 20 seconds after 6 close stages of action. Just behind them was Sir Andrew McAlpine and Andrew Merrifield in their classic Mini, hustling it around the Cheshire countryside. That is sweet. Listen to it go. Looking good for 2nd place championship points and 7th overall in class. Craig Aston was in action with Mark Wassell after narrowly missing the title last year. Adam Ripper and Ray Ripper, 3rd of the championship runners. No doubt they will be setting sights on the championship title for this season. A little further back after a 10-second penalty during stage 2 were Christian Jackson and Rhys Davis, 8th overall but 4th in the championship. Clearly the oats were helping. Another Micra, this time belonging to James Hardy and Nick Wilkins, was 9th in Class A. Robert Jones and Tony Archer are also registered for the championship, so 5th of the point scorers wasn't a bad position to be in, just after halfway points in the day. Kay Thompson and Charlotte Wainwright were also back in the championship in their Nissan Micra, taking things steadily through the water splash.
Oh, we were around the tailgate, so it was a bit better and up down the gate.
Rounding out the Class A competitors were Adrian Mayle and Rob Hayden, competing in that lovely Alfa Romeo 33. Top work. Further dramas, as after Frank Bird and Jack Morton retired, so too did Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman, which meant Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh took over the lead of the rally with a healthy lead over Graham Coffey and our Sam Coleman. There was a massive moment in Class D1 too, as Will and Leon Owens spun onto the grass and weren't able to recover the car from the mud, causing not only their lead to go, but also retirement from the contest. What a disaster. That meant that Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins took over the top spot in the Darien T90 GTR Plus, and they weren't hanging about either. 5th overall, and just ahead of the Class C leading Darien of Joshua and Tamsin Davey. They were running down the order, but still nursing damage to the left front, as you can see here, but still holding on to the class lead. Top in the B class were Chris Ruck and Steve Harris in their very rare left-hand drive Opel Corsa. This was originally built in Poland, and it remains a rapid piece of machinery. So, after 6 stages gone and getting to the end of the rally, Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood in the Vauxhall Corsa still leading from the guys in the Citroën AX GT, Ben Wilson and Kevin Wilson, 13 seconds behind. The other Vauxhall Corsa, Mark Blackmore and Matthew Blackmore, still there in 3rd place. Class B was hotting up, but Chris Ruck and Steve Harris in the Vauxhall Corsa were up front, with Danny Davis and Liam McCallion in the Vauxhall Corsa 2nd. But the fight for the podium was on. Richard Kay and Adam Kay in the Vauxhall Corsa held it at the minute. Class C had some runaway leaders up the front in that Darien T90 of Joshua Davey and Tamsin Davey. But could Jack Ives and Dave Reed do anything about it in the Ford Escort in 2nd place? Well, Anthony Allery and Simon Dockeray were in 3rd in the Ford Escort RS. Class D1 has a lot of Mark II escorts, but it was the Darien T90 GTR Plus of Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins who was leading that class from Stephen and Jack Tilburn in their Ford Escort RS. Class D2 for the four-wheel drive cars, Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh were leading it in their Ford Fiesta R5 by 30 seconds from Graham Coffey and R. Sam in their Ford Fiesta S2000T. James Self and Ian Davis in their Ford Fiesta R5 were in third. It was looking like it was going to be a battle to the end in the overall results, and look at that. 1 minute 29 seconds covered the top six, but out front it was Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh in the Ford Fiesta R5. Matt Edwards has retired from stage 6 and Sam has found him in the paddock.
Matt, not quite your day today, just talk us through what's happened.
We don't really know, to be honest. It just cut out, everything went a bit haywire just on the last split of that last stage there, and something to do with the manifold. I think it's blown a hole in the manifold or cracked a gasket or something, and it's just gone through a load of electrics and stopped the car, so we won't know a lot more till they pull it to bits, but just left us abandoned in the middle of the road, unfortunately.
Someone said something about a small fire as well. Was there a small fire?
Yeah, just under the bonnet because there wasn't a big, wasn't really much of a drama until we could smell burning, and then opened the bonnet and there's just one of the little sheaths on a pipe was burning, but nothing dramatic in that sense, but quick enough to get the extinguisher out, I'll tell you that.
No, well, we're really, really gutted for you. It's been great to have you at Oulton Park for the first round of the championship. Will we see you at any more rounds at all?
There's a few rumours. Perhaps when we get that fixed, we'll go out and do something else. But no, I really enjoyed it. It's a new challenge. It's different, and off a map and things like that. So no, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
For stages 7 and 8, the cars will take off at the end of the pit lane and run clockwise around the circuit, taking the Shell Oils hairpin. At Lodge Corner, they'll turn left and head onto the gravel access road that runs parallel to the pit straight before taking a 90-degree corner to rejoin the track. On the third lap, the cars will take in the Darcy Dip water splash for a shortened circuit. Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh don't plan on taking it easy as they look to consolidate their lead after the retirement of Matt Edwards and Rhys Stoneman. They are flying out there, sliding that Ford Fiesta with style. Running second in class are Graham Coffey and R. Sam. They started the stage 30 seconds behind, but would lose another 7 seconds to the Fiesta of Simpson and Walsh. Firing off the line are Andy Scott and Mark Fowler in Kevin Proctor's Fiesta. At the end of the stage, just 6 seconds would separate them from second place. Still leading Class D1 is the Grey Missile, the Darien of Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins. Stephen and Jack Tilburn are not letting it get too far down the road though. They put in a good fight, but sometimes you just got to concede to a deserving winner. They still had a 30-plus second lead over Paul Morrow and Callum Cross, who finished third, and it's all good for championship points. Mind you, look at Paul going that Escort. Drive it like you stole it, son. He's got it by the scruff of its neck, but it's just dancing underneath him. He must be loving it right now. Proper rallying. Love it. Class C leader Joshua Davey looks to be enjoying himself too. That Darien has been performing well all day, and it's just eaten up these stages. Maybe they're onto something with that real camber. Takes some chicanes well, doesn't it? The Vauxhall Corsa of Chris Ruck and Steve Harris still looks brand new after an entire day of rallying. There's a lot of pride in that team to keep it looking so immaculate. Amazing to see. Big Macs all round, lads. Double cheeseburger for me, please. At the end of stage 8, Nick Calverthwaite had a 10-second advantage in Class A, but it wouldn't last long. Andy Scott and Mark Fowler had a belter on stage 8, going fastest overall and jumping to second place in the standings. Meanwhile, a disastrous final stage would see a lead change in Class A with Ben and Kevin Wilson going an amazing 23 seconds faster than day-long leader Calverthwaite. Graham Coffey wants it bad, doesn't he? Look at those front brake discs glowing in the dark that's descended on Oulton Park. They'll keep the mechanics' hands warm, lad. The final stage is a 1-lap, 3-mile blast around the track. The competitors will use the gravel access road at Lodge Corner and finish with a hairpin turn onto the pit straight to cross the line at the top of the pit lane. Rally at night brings on a whole new challenge. Let's join Sam and Graham as they head off the start line to the final stage. Graham is not hanging around. Steady on, son. Flat out round Cascades. Learned a bit there. You can hardly see anything out there, which makes it especially difficult as you can no longer use the trees or buildings as reference points. This is where the co-drivers earn their keep. We can barely make out the numbers on the cars, but finishing the rally with a flourish, here is Steve Simpson. Nice one, lad. Let's go over there and join the winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a day it has been here at Oulton Park for round 1 of the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship. I've got champagne in my throat. I can't talk anymore. What an unbelievable day it has been. We've had a few ups and downs with the championship competitors, but here is our podium. You guys have had a good day as well, haven't you?
Yeah, me and Jack, we've had a mega day in the MX-5. It's nice to actually stand on a proper podium with you proper people in your proper cars. But no, we've had a great time. But you know, you especially, you guys have had a cracking day as well, and it's gone well, isn't it? But I'm just happy to finish. But I think we're in the top 20, so I'm made up. Jack's had a right rough day. I have been flat out through everywhere I could find, and I think he's got concussion now from hitting his head on the roof. But it's been all right.
I mean, Jack, you've been quite hyper today, actually, haven't you? You've been like running around, hugging everybody, and yeah, no, you sound like you've had a good day.
It's been a while since I've been in the paddock, so it's nice to be back and see everyone. But it's also nice to be standing here with Graham on the podium, the sponsor of the event. You two guys who present the championship, and obviously I represent Motorsport News. So it's nice to see all four of us here at the end getting to the finish, because we didn't quite make it last year after a little issue that we had in the car. But you know, that's just how rallying goes. So we've had a great day today. Paul's driven really well. Hate to give him credit, but have to give him credit where it's due. I mean, he's been spotless today. I don't think we can go back and find many seconds in the day. So it's been a great day.
There you go, hang on to that forever.
Give me that back, Graham. You've had a good time, haven't you? How cool has she been? You can't speak about her.
Yeah, she's been really cool. I wanted to ask her the question. I wanted to be the. In fact, I'm going to do that now. So then, Sam, can you tell us how your day went, please?
My day has been unbelievable from start to finish. It really has. Thank you so much for having me in with you, because I have had an absolute blast of a day. And like that last stage has just finished it off spot on, hasn't it?
Yeah, we had a brilliant day, and you did a great job. I know you had a few pre-match nerves this morning, but what sort of tablets did you take to get rid of those nerves?
Nothing. We got in the car. Don't start things like that. God. No, as soon as we were on that start line, we were away.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, like I say, we've done a great job, and we're on the podium, and we're covered in champagne. And I think I've had too much champagne down my mouth now, so I better go. See you later.
Jesus, I think he's got a future, or Graham. Nice, mate, isn't it?
You two are out of a job.
Huge congratulations. I'm not being bitter at all. I'm being very, very professional. I am so happy for you guys. It has been such a good battle all day, hasn't it? You've certainly got to grips with the car.
Yeah, no, it's great. You know, both you and Graham have been great competition all day. And, you know, I think the last interview we jokingly said we'd have 5 seconds. And, yeah, then the next stage you beat us. So, but we finally turned it round. So, yeah, it's been a great event, and it's always more fun when you're fighting with somebody, whether it's 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 10th, wherever. That made it a special day for me. You know, driving a car I've never driven before. Big thank you to Kevin Proctor and all the guys at ATM. Without them, we couldn't have done it today. So, big thank you to Mark as well. So, yeah, been great fun.
Mark, I mean, we've had a really good laugh all day, haven't we? It has been awesome. What's it been like to be back in the car?
It's been amazing, just been unbelievable. Thank you to Andy, obviously, for driving us around and getting us around. Thank you to Kev for giving us the chance to go out in the car. Unbelievable piece of kit, and just want to be back in it again.
Huge congratulations, guys. First overall at Oulton Park. How's the day gone for you?
It's been good. We're a bit rusty out of the box this morning, but, you know, kept ourselves to ourselves all day. We've just gradually built the pace up, and 1 or 2 have gone by the wayside, you know, and we've just picked up the pieces. And we've been fairly quick this afternoon, and nobody's caught us, so, you know, we've ended up, thankfully, the winner.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Patrick. What's it been like from your side of the car?
It's been fairly simple, easy, smooth. Steve knows the venue pretty well. Had a good run round. gravel road's a bit tricky coming through there. We had 2 quick guys out here as well with Matt and Frank, so fighting with them would have been a bit difficult. They've had their own issues and we've kind of kept it clean and taken the win. 3rd win now at the venue, so yeah, really, really happy.
What a sweet day's rallying. Anyway, on to the results. Ben and Kevin Wilson at the top of the tree in Class A after taking the lead on the final stage. Nicky Cowperthwaite and James Wood must be gutted, but they still finished 2nd. Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin were 3rd. Chris Ruck and Steve Harris take victory, having led the class since stage 3. They'd finished with a healthy margin over Paul Gorge and Daniel Hurst in their Mazda MX-5. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish end the day well, getting in 2 places in the final stages to finish 4th. Joshua and Tamsin Davey take a commanding win in Class C with a gap of over 4 minutes to Jack Ives and Dave Reed in 2nd place. Not a bad effort considering their front wheels look like I'd put them on. Anyway, Anthony Allery and Simon Dockeray complete the top 3. Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins had a hiccup on stage 5 and lost 18 seconds, but that was the only time they had not led the D1 class all day. They regained the lead on stage 6 and didn't look back. Stephen and Jack Tilburn finished 2nd ahead of fellow Ford Escort runners Paul Moreau and Callum Cross. In the D2 class, after a number of upsets during the day, which saw early pace setters Frank Bird and Matt Edwards both retire, it's Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh that take the win. Andy Scott and Mark Fowler put on a late spurt to claim 2nd, and in 3rd place it's our very own Sam Coleman and Graham Coffey. Confirmation of the final results, and Steve Simpson leads a Ford podium lockout. Joshua and Tamsin Davey finished 5th overall in the Darien, just ahead of the D1 class version driven by Barry Morris. As the fireworks light up the night sky, it's time to look at the Michelin Cup standings. Graham Coffey takes an early lead of 2 points over Joshua Davey. Barry Morris is 1 point behind him in 3rd, and Stephen Tilburn is 4th with Richard Wells 5th. The Motorsport News Rally Championship standings look very different, however, with Tamsin Davey sharing the lead with Graham Coffey. Joshua is 2 points back and equal with Tom Hutchins, with Barry Morris just behind them in 5th. Well, that's it from Oulton. Join us next time for round 2 at Cadwell.